There's a dog on my desk. Baron, lift your head just a little more so they can see you. Just a little more. There he is. How'd you get up here? He's so very handsome and sweet, aren't you? You're a good boy. I'm gonna put you down. Come here, Roxy. You wanna be on camera? You want some spotlight, Roxy? Roxy, come here. She doesn't want to come here. She's going to make her fans suffer. Well, in this video, besides dogs, I have 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, should have done that the other way and lifted my fingers, controversial luxury handbag topics that people keep asking me about. So I'm finally going to share my opinions, and I would love to hear yours in the comment section below. Stay tuned to find out what these 4 controversial luxury handbag topics are. Hi YouTube, Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about luxury living on a budget, from high-end luxury handbags and small goods to the everyday luxuries of life. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell notification icon to be notified when I post new videos, and be sure to like the videos that you enjoy. And one of the perks of subscribing to my channel is that you get to see my community posts, where I post deals and sales and discount codes and rare finds related to these things we love. So let's get to these 4 topics. Number 1. Louis Vuitton changing from date codes that are printed inside your bag and you can read and figure out when and where your bag was made, to them removing those and replacing them with microchips that you can't do anything with. So what's my opinion of this? It's my understanding that Louis Vuitton is doing this as another measure to try to prevent counterfeiting of their bags. And if it works like it's supposed to, and if it works forever, because the only way they can read the microchip is if the bag is in a Louis Vuitton store and they scan it. It's my understanding anyway. So if you have a bag that's made in 2021, let's say 50 years later, you want to take that vintage bag in that you found in your grandmother's closet and see when and where it was made, or even if it's authentic, will they still have the technology to be able to read that? I'd like to know. Don't think anyone can answer that for me yet, but I foresee that being a problem. So it could be good for Louis Vuitton, might eventually be not so great of a choice. Ultimately, for consumers, I see it as a bad thing for a few reasons. 1, personally, I like that I can find out when and where my bags and other items were made. It just makes the piece more interesting. 2, a lot of people are interested in having a bag that's made in a certain place, be it France, Spain, Italy, United States, Texas specifically. I've wanted to get a Texas bag since they opened the plant, but I haven't, because the ones that they've made at that plant are not bags I'm interested in getting, or they're bags I already have. So I was hoping that they would eventually make more and make something I'd want, and then I could have a code that says TX and whatever the date is. Not gonna happen anymore. Also, people like bags that are made at a particular time. They like to find a birthday bag that was made in their birthday year or birthday month and year, or an anniversary bag that was made in the year, month or year of their anniversary, or some other date of significance. Can't do that anymore. I mean, you can with the older bags, but once they started the microchipping, from then on you can't anymore. I think it will also make it more difficult for individuals to resell their bags, like in all these Facebook groups or eBay, whatever it may be, because the date code was one measure of authenticity. Certainly not the only one, and a bag can still be authenticated with a microchip rather than the date code tag. There are lots of different factors to look for in authenticating bags. Since the transition to microchip is so far not a super well-known thing, because most people don't follow these brands as closely as we do, and I'm sure this is news to some of you watching as well, there are going to be a lot of people who ask to see the date code, and then they're told, well, this bag doesn't have a date code, and then they're going to think it's a fake bag because it doesn't have a date code. It may also make it more difficult for bigger resellers like Fashionphile for the same reason. I would guess, though, that at some point, places like Fashionphile and counterfeiters are going to figure out that microchip technology and be able to scan those bags. Like Fashionphile eventually is probably going to be able to scan bags and find out what the invisible date code is. And the counterfeiters are probably going to be able to come up with microchips that they can implant in bags and that read authentic. I don't know, though. I don't know enough about that technology, but it seems like if Vuitton can come up with it, then the counterfeiters can come up with it. eventually. Controversial topic number 2. This is something I don't think most of you know about yet. Coach recently, for Earth Day in fact, 2021, released a very limited line of restored vintage bags from Coach, of course, and upcycled bags from Coach. What does this mean? Oh, and by the way, the upcycled bags and the vintage bags from Coach, they're supposed to drop the second batch of those today. By the time you're seeing this, they may already be sold out, but I will link that page below. So, according to their website, Coach had bags that were in their repair shop, vintage bags, for example, and they went through and cleaned them up and made them pretty, and then put them up for sale on their Coach website for, I would say, very reasonable prices too. They also took bags that, again, were in the repair shop, and rather than making them look brand new and selling them, they had their artisans clean them up and then decorate them somehow. So for example, here's one that has luggage tags all over it, or this one, this is my favorite of the ones that they released last time. This kiss lock bag that they've added the drawings on, they've added this chain to, they've added some bag charms. These are one of a kind items, by the way. And then they put these up on the Coach website, and they all sold out like immediately. There weren't many. And the prices were really good. By that I mean like $400 or $500 for one of a kind Coach bags, which ultimately I would think would be collectible bags, collector's items. So why is this controversial? I think it's a brilliant idea on the part of Coach. I think that what they've done is looked at the market. They've seen that vintage bags are selling. Vintage Coach bags are very popular. They've seen that there's a huge pre-loved market, and they've also seen that there's an upcycled market. Like, have you guys seen the Louis Vuitton bags that, for example, somebody will buy a really cheap, maybe dirty, old vintage beat up Speedy bag that most people probably wouldn't want to carry around as it is because it's so beat up. But people will buy those for cheap, and then they'll decorate them. They might paint on them, they might add fringe or some whip stitching around the edges, and then resell those as upcycled decorated bags. And some people are getting hefty prices for those. So Coach has seen all this and we're like, other people are making money off of our products. We could do that. And now they are. And I just think it's brilliant. So the controversy, where does that come in? The controversy for me is that I've seen so many people talk about those Louis Vuitton bags, for example, that have the fringe and everything, and how it's an abomination to Louis Vuitton and how it's ugly and the bags aren't meant to look like that. But the argument here is, and of course Coach isn't Louis Vuitton, but let's say it is for the sake of argument here. We may be comparing apples to oranges, but I think they're closer to the same thing than that. Is it different when a regular person does something like that to a bag versus when the fashion house does something like that? The people that are decorating these bags for Coach, they're not designers that are coming up with a line that's taken years to develop and they've done research and development and all this and they're putting these bags into production. These are just people who are working for Coach who are doing something artistic on one bag, just like an individual would, and then offering that to the public. So whereas the individual doing it may get roasted on a place like YouTube or Facebook for doing what they do to a bag, would the same happen for Coach releasing such a bag? I saw a video recently on the internet, it's an old video, but it was a little interview with Jane Birkin about what was in her Birkin bag. And it was done by CBS Sunday Morning, which we watch every week. And I noticed that as she was showing off her Birkin bag, she had all these things hanging from it. She had like bells and all these tassels and bag charms and things. I never see a Birkin like on YouTube with that much stuff on it, you know? And I was thinking the same issue here. If some random individual did that to their Birkin and showed it in a video, I feel like they would be roasted. But is it different because Jane Birkin does it? Does it give it some legitimacy because it's her? Or some legitimacy because it's someone who is paid by Coach versus just an individual off the street, right? Or even the same could be said by, in the Louis Vuitton stores, some of them, there are people who paint on trunks. And they don't paint designs that are Louis Vuitton approved. They paint designs that the customer wants, whatever the customer wants. So this is something, again, that it's sort of a cross there actually, because it's a collaboration between the individual off the street customer and someone who's paid by the fashion house. So I just think it's interesting from an artistic perspective, these different ideas of you can have the same piece ultimately, but one is legitimate because it's made by a company or by someone paid by the company, and one is viewed as not so legitimate or something to snub your nose at because it's just a random person. So what do you guys think about that? So remember to go check out that Coach website and see what of the upcycled and vintage bags dropped today, if they did, because they said they'd drop around this date. So I don't know if it'll actually be on this date, but I will have the site linked below. Go check it out if you're interested in seeing them or possibly purchasing one if there's anything still available. All right, point number, hold on, I'm gonna do it this way, 3, because it's too hard to do it that way. Point number 3, controversial topic number 3. This is about Hermes, and this has to do with a video that was recently on YouTube. It's since been taken down. It was by one of the luxury YouTubers. She's pretty well known, and I'm not going to say who she is because she took it down for her own reasons, and I don't want to draw attention to her specifically, but I know a lot of you are going to have seen the video or heard about it, and it has to do with Hermes and their policies or lack thereof, really, for offering Birkins and Kellys to people. And people have asked me what I think about Hermes and that whole thing. I know plenty of people have told me when I've brought this topic up before, yeah, but they do it for exclusivity. It's not supposed to be fair. The thing is, with those Hermes bags, any Hermes bags, but especially those, the exclusivity comes with the price tag. I mean, that makes it exclusive right there. The fact that they pick and choose what seems to be a very random system with no real rules, that I don't like. Because you can have very loyal customers like this YouTuber was, still is, I think. And she should have been able to get the bag she wanted. Like, anyone should. Anyone who has the money to spend on those bags and is willing to spend it should be able to walk in a store and get it. And the idea that, oh, they're handmade by one person and it takes all this time, I think that's a bunch of baloney. I would say it a different way if I wasn't on camera here. They can hire more people, they can train more people, they can take the time it takes to train more people in order to hire more people, they can buy the equipment that those more people would need, they can buy the buildings that those people would need to have the space that they need, they can buy all the materials, the leathers, the whatevers. If they wanted to make more bags, they could make more bags. But they don't want to. And because of that, and because of this idea of exclusivity they have, they make it difficult for people to get the bags. I just think that they should have some kind of transparent system in place where you can sign up to be on a waiting list, or you can meet certain criteria and you can get whatever bag you want. You should be able to order the bag you want and not just be subject to what they happen to have in the store for that price tag. I just don't think it's right. So what do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to have a Birkin. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford one. And I also don't think if I could that I would buy it at the store. I think I'd buy it pre-loved because of those games. I don't really want Hermes to get that much money from me because of the way that they treat their customers. So that's how I feel about that. Now she's chasing her brother around the room. You're being a bully. That's right. You being a bully. You better be nice. Vlogmas Santa is watching you. You heard me and then you bit your brother's ear. It's rude. It's rude. Come here. Come here, Roxy. Roxy, come here. Hello, Bear, honey. Hello. Is she trying to murder you? Come on, Bear. Good boy. All right, controversial. There's a dog behind me. Topic number 4. The current it bag, the Coach Pillow Tabby. Quite a few people I know have this bag. It is all over YouTube at the moment, and people keep asking me what I think about it and am I going to get one. I'm not going to get one. What I think about it is, at first glance, it's super cute. When I first saw it, I thought it was very cute. Still, when I see it, I think it's cute. But I've seen a few videos about it, and it's just not a bag for me. First of all, they don't have it in a color that I would want currently. I think they'll probably come out with a wider range of colors later. But right now, there's not a color that appeals to me. even if there was, the puffiness of the bag, it just has a few problems for me. The puffiness of the bag takes up too much space inside the bag. Both the 18 centimeter and is it the 26 centimeter? Is that the right size? The capacity is like nothing inside the bag. It'll hold barely anything. If I was to get one, I would get the smaller one though. I think it is cuter in that size, personally. But then also it seems to have some design flaws. So where the C is on the front, there's a lot of wrinkling on many of the bags, which I don't like the look of. It looks like it should be very smooth, and that just ruins the look of it for me. And then when you open the top flap, I've seen several videos where they can't open the flap as much as you should be able to. And then when you do, it rips the leather around the stitches there right at the edges. So that's not good. That's a major design flaw. So for those reasons, I will not be getting a pillow tabby. But I know, again, quite a few people who have them and love them, and that's great for you guys. Well, those are my 4 controversial topics, so let me know what you think about each of those, or any number of them, in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you back here next time. I hope you and your loved ones are doing well, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.